Bandwidth for today's show is brought to you by SoftLayer.com. We love SoftLayer here at Talkapolis. They are the greatest hosting company ever. They make everything easy. Check out their website at SoftLayer.com. Thanks again for sponsoring the show.
Talkapolis, the social media TV network for your city.
Thanks for joining us again for the Nashville Fitness and Beauty Roundup. We're back with Dennis and Rebecca talking about the popularity of CrossFit and some of the phrases, the terms you might have heard but don't really understand, because it is really like a different language. But first, I want to talk about the community of CrossFit. It seems to be growing. People are talking about it's despite, you know, whatever negative things people are saying, it continues to grow because I think because it's a community. I mean, you guys are just tight knit. It seems very encouraging. Why? What is that? What do you guys do different that other movements or other gyms aren't doing? How is it different in a CrossFit box to create that community?
Wow.
Well, I would say the first thing that people probably get that feeling from when they walk in the door is that we've all come in for our first workout, and just about no matter what your background is, it's rough.
Okay.
So right off the bat, you see day one, the people that have been in there are cheering on like crazy the people that are doing burpees for the first time, or
Gotcha.
you know, something horrible where they're feeling nauseous and they think they can't do it.
Okay.
There's
So it's not like an ego guy walking around, I'm the top dog, and
No.
look at that guy can't do, you know, 10 burpees in
or,
30
you know,
seconds. Or
that
what.
guy's dying in his burpee.
That guy's dying, he's gonna, you know, he's about to throw up, look at him puke, you know.
Yeah.
So that's not the attitude. It's not
No.
an ego,
No.
not a place for the ego.
You check your ego at the door.
Right. And if you've
Okay.
got too much ego, you usually don't last long.
Yeah.
Because you
It
lose.
takes it out of you, does it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You'll most of the time, if they have an ego, they don't come back.
Yeah.
If it's a strong ego and they can't handle that, some smaller guy or girl just destroyed you, they don't come back.
Gotcha. Well, good. We don't want them around anyway, right?
Well, and again, that leads into, you know, like you said, the community. I think
Uh-huh.
one of the things about CrossFit is the community. It's a driving force.
Right.
And it's a driving force that's been set down from the top of HQ. You know, the things that we see about HQ and that we know about HQ is they're a very tight-knit organization. They're very community organized. And it trickles down. It goes into their level ones, and it's what they do at their level one courses. They get to know you. They develop that sense of community.
Right.
And then you take it into your community, and you start with one, and you end up with, you know, hopefully 500-600 plus. And you
500 or
know,
600.
that's what you hope for.
Right.
That's great.
That's what
And
you hope for.
You can. I mean, you're doing your classes are not. Is there 20 people, 10 people?
We usually cap ours about 18.
Right.
Uh-huh.
Which, you know, I've been to gyms that have 500 to 600 members. You know, the Black Box in New York City. Some of the
Okay.
older gyms are there. You know, they have computer sign up, so your classes don't get over flooded.
Right.
You know, they offer a lot of classes.
Yeah, I
lot
would
of
think-
coaches.
For the size of your classes, you're not talking about 50 people in a class. You're talking about, you said 10 to 18.
Yeah.
Right.
And a lot of times you have 2 coaches, maybe
Right.
more.
So you do have a lot of good attention on what's going on.
It's a lot.
Right. We usually run about 2 coaches.
Per class.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah.
Yeah, eyes on form and movement, and
Right.
somebody struggling how to scale it for them and stuff like that.
Yeah, and along with the, you know, the mental toughness that we were talking about earlier, you know, that a lot of CrossFit is checking your ego at the door, being mentally tough, it's an emotional experience. I mean, you are out there pouring your heart out, and you're having that emotional experience with everybody in the class with you. Because maybe
Gotcha.
someone gets it done faster, but they're still pouring their heart out too. You know, collapsed on the ground afterwards, cheering each other on. You all
Cheering each other on.
Oh yeah, the cheering on
Oh, yeah.
is probably
To
one of
finish.
the
So if
biggest
someone's
things.
struggling or getting through, you guys
Well,
are.
An example, yesterday in our 6 p.m. class, we had 18, and I think the fastest one was in 6 minutes. The workout was 6 minutes, and the longest one was 18 for that evening.
Oh, wow.
And 18 of them, and there was one person still going, and no bar had been stripped down yet, they were all around him, pushing him through until he finished the workout. And they all high-fived him when he's on the floor. Then they started breaking everything down, and let's get out of here and let's go.
Yeah, it's really sweet. It's like the person that comes in last
Has more
cheered on like the greatest hero in the room. It's so sweet.
has more people cheering him on than possibly the first person.
Right.
Wow.
We
well,
had
that would create that bond.
Yeah.
I mean, you trust and wow.
And Rich Froning, I got to work out with him once. I've met him a few times, and I mean, I was scared to work out with him. And there was something called double unders in it, which is not a strength of mine. I tend to have a heart attack and need to rest way more frequently than he does. And I think he finished the workout in a third of the time it took me. And then he came over and he kneeled next to me and he yelled at me the rest of the workout. I mean, he was cheering me on.
Right, he's encouraging you, like pushing you forward.
Yeah, he was saying, pick it up, keep going, keep going.
That's great.
So, you know, you see it from the, you know, the intro foundations class all the way to the top athletes, that it's a part of CrossFit. You know, we support each other because it's hard.
So you guys do an intro class. That's a good thing to ask, because people think they jump right into these hard workouts. So you put them through a foundation.
Yeah, I know our box, we moved to a month foundations. It's 2 weeks where we introduce the movements to you, make sure that you're proficient in them. You're not going to be great in them, but at least you know what we're expecting of you, the standards that we're expecting of you. And then the last 2 weeks of that month, your coach in foundations works with you in the class to help you scale, and you don't feel overwhelmed moving into a regular class. Because a lot of times if you move into a class of 15 and it's your first workout after a foundations, it's scary. You know, they get scared. And again, back to the community, as owners, we're constantly questioning and asking our community for feedback. And one of it on a high percentage was that when we moved after 2 week foundations into the class, we were really scared. We didn't know really how to scale so much. We didn't know how we felt like we were really behind. And so we took that and we decided to make it a little bit longer. You're still doing the workouts, but you have a coach there with you. So in that class, you have your own coach, but you're in the class. So you have that sense of community. And you're learning how to scale, and that's the job of the coach there that day, is to teach you how to scale and what's right scaling for you.
Wow.
And you know, during our foundations, if our regular class finishes and the foundations are still going, they go over and cheer them on, like she was saying. You know, those members know what those newbies are going through, and they need that encouragement. So they go over and cheer them on, high five them, and get to know them and start building that rapport and start developing those relationships that help build that community.
That's great. That's great. You just don't find that in gyms where people are going in, headphones on, zone out, nobody talks to anybody.
Last time I went to a Y, I went to I forget why I was in there, but I was in a standard YMCA.
Was it to work out?
I haven't been in one
I forget
forever.
why I was in there. I know. I think I was meeting an old friend of mine that wanted me to show her a couple of things she could try and do in the YMCA.
Sure.
Well, I was waiting on her for a little while, and everybody had headphones in.
Oh yeah.
The music was actually, there was this really faint background of, I think it was something random like 70s music, and it was so quiet. And everybody's, you know, we joke about everyone's, you know, doing their curls, looking in the mirror,
and then texting.
And it was kind of surreal for me. I'm like looking around, like, what's everybody doing in here? It's so weird. Like, is anybody going to talk to me? And then I was like, no.
All right.
They're not, and if they did, it probably would be for the wrong reasons.
Right. Yeah. That's the meat market. Sounds like you guys don't have time for that in there.
No.
Everybody's breathing too hard.
No.
Let's talk about some of the terminology people hear. They hear WOD, AMRAP. WOD is the workout of the day, obviously.
Workout of the day.
Yeah.
AMRAP, as many
rounds or reps as possible in a particular time period.
Okay. EMOM?
Every minute on the minute.
Every minute on the minute.
So you do a certain thing every minute.
Something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So if it was an EMOM, 10 minutes of pull-ups and box jumps.
Every minute on
2
the
minutes, 2 pull-ups and 5 box jumps. So every minute they will do 2 pull-ups, 5 box jumps, rest the remaining time.
Ah.
A lot of times the EMOMs are a little bit more for developing better skill in that movement. So if I had somebody that was really struggling with pull-ups more than, let's say, 5 or 6, I may have them do an EMOM to where they're doing maybe 1 or 2, then they get a good break, another 1 or 2, get a good break. So they're developing that skill and that strength.
Without being under fatigue.
Yeah.
Because some of the more technical things that we do in the gym, you need developing and mastering the skills.
Sure.
Under fatigue is a little bit more challenging. But if you can kind of reset, catch your breath, you can still get good solid reps in with good technique without
Sure.
you know, struggling
Without
with
losing
it. You
your
feel
form.
like you're having a heart attack
Gotcha.
and you're trying to maintain perfect form. And then once you've mastered that skill, you put it in a workout under fatigue and you maintain that perfect form under,
Gotcha.
cardio stress. And
So it's a progression.
It's different where, say a workout, you can deadlift, say an individual, let's just say 185 pounds, they can deadlift that X number of times, 10 times.
Mm-hmm.
Have them do a 400-meter run and 10 burpees before they do it 10 times, and it changes the way that bar feels.
Sure.
So as a coach, from a coaching standpoint, we can actually start to see function diminish and start to pinpoint what's weak, what needs to get stronger, how their conditioning is maybe off to where they're not able to pull that weight or do the things that they should do to make them a more efficient and better athlete.
Gotcha. Okay. Fran. Fran, you were naming this, it's a girl's name obviously, but Fran it's a big popular workout. It's a very short workout. What is it? Thrusters?
It's 21-15-9 of thrusters and pull-ups.
So 21 thrusters, 21 pull-ups.
15 thrusters, 15 pull-ups, 9 thrusters, 9 pull-ups.
Non-stop.
Oh yeah.
Non-stop, that's the idea.
Non-stop.
I think it's so famous. Probably because it is such a short, intense workout and it's I think it's so famous because it's one of the most probably painful workouts.
It's horrible.
Yeah. I mean, the first time
I'm glad you're
did it,
saying that because I tried it a few times.
If you do it,
it was evil.
If you do it fast, you're going to sit in the corner for a while.
Right. I know you take. There's actually even one of the things is I've heard referenced as Fran lungs.
Oh.
If you get that workout done in sub 5, your lungs are on fire. Your forearms are on fire. I have coughed for 2 days after doing Fran.
Oh,
Fran
wow.
cough.
Okay. Obviously, I'm a little slow and didn't quite push it that hard, but okay.
Well, I mean, the first time I did it, I think I didn't cough. I didn't get the cough and everything. It took me the first time I ever did it, it probably took me 10 to 12 minutes. I was in a lot of pain, but I don't remember that time having the cardio effect. But if you get that Fran time down.
So it's be like doing sprints kind of thing, that kind of effect where you have a little bit of that burn and inflammation there because you've challenged your lungs and everybody's thinking they're thinking about the weight you're lifting and not the fact that the pace is challenging your aerobic system and your anaerobic. I mean, everything is going all at once.
It's
full board.
it's an anaerobic workout.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, if you get it in under 5,
if you
majority of the time it's going to be an anaerobic.
Yeah, but I mean, you're using as much oxygen as your body can possibly handle, and then you're tapping every bit of energy that it can create without oxygen. So I mean, aerobic is maxed, and you are beyond that, like someone like a sprinter would be trying to. Everything's firing off basically to just feed your muscles energy. That's what it sounds like. So you've got obviously the muscular development that comes from or the endurance, but then your lungs you said your heart rate's pounding, your lungs are hurting.
Right.
It's not.
Yeah, and 21-15-9 is a common rep scheme
Yeah.
in CrossFit. There's other workouts that have 21-15-9, and something about that rep scheme. I think part of why Fran's so painful, and I actually get nervous anytime I see 21-15-9 couplet of 2 exercises.
Okay.
Because decreasing number of reps makes you push that much harder. Because if it was, 15, 15, 15 is an equal number of reps as 21, 15, 9.
Right.
15, 15, 15, your pace, that last 15 is just a little bit slower than the middle 15 and maybe a lot slower than the first 15. But if you do 21, 15, 9, when you get to that 9, you're thinking, it's just 9. Go.
You can finish it. You
so
don't have to stop.
your last 9 is probably going to be faster than your 15, just
Gotcha.
because you've tricked your brain. And when I see that
It's
21,
closer. It's
when
like
I see
the end
that
is
21,
near.
15, 9 couplet, I think, this is going to hurt.
This is gonna hurt.
I'm about to push things to the limits.
Okay.
And,
Well, absolutely. They're all, as far as I'm concerned, it's all to the limits. But I mean,
Right.
it all looks like it's to the limits. But Murph, I mean, which was a longer workout.
Murph is a much longer workout, but
Yeah.
the names of them. So the girls, the benchmarks are named after girls.
Okay.
So you might see a shirt that says the girls and it's got all the girls' names on it.
Right.
And those are benchmarks. And I think the benchmarks are how we can test you and then retest you. That's pretty much our way of test and retest the athlete to see if they're getting better. The hero WODs are like Murph. They tend to be a little bit longer. They're named after the soldiers that have died for our country. Murph is one of them.
Or police and fire.
Or police and fire, yes.
Yeah.
Can't forget them.
Right.
And Murph is probably one of the most grueling ones, I would have
Right.
to say.
Okay.
You know, it's a mile run, 100 push-ups, 200 push-ups, or
100 pull-ups.
100 pull-ups, 200 push-ups, 300 squats, and a mile run.
Wow.
Technically, it's supposed to be
It's
done with
supposed
a
to be
weight vest.
20-pound weight vest.
What?
Yes.
Yeah, it's supposed to be done with a 20-pound weight vest.
That's
I have
RX?
not- I have
That's
not.
prescribed.
That's
I have
prescribed
not
as a
RX'd
20-pound
that.
weight vest. Oh, I didn't know that.
Yes.
Yeah.
I had not heard that. Wow.
Yeah,
And
that's pretty bad.
It's rough. We tend to do it once a year, Labor Day, Memorial Day, one of those we tend to. And then on the other day, and the other holiday, we may pick another hero WOD.
Yeah, 4th of July,
Yeah.
Labor Day, Memorial Day.
So you say benchmarks, and you don't do these very often, but they kind of, you can look back and say, okay, last year I did it here, or last time I did this, I did it. I was at this time, or I got, and then now it's either improved or it was more difficult that day because of this, or you see it as a sort of something to measure yourself.
It's
Fine.
just like
Somewhat,
somebody that
right.
likes to run and they do a 5K,
Mhm.
and then they train. And well, how do you know you're getting better? Well, your splits might be getting better,
Mhm.
but go run the 5K. Oh, okay, well, I improved. It's the same thing with what we do with benchmarks.
Right,
Gotcha.
which is, why I talk about my original Fran time, and,
Gotcha.
I've kind of watched as kept track of as it's changed. It's
Great.
just like a 5K. I might rather do Fran than a 5K, though.
Yeah, I would rather do Fran than 5K.
Yeah.
I don't like to run much.
I'm not a big runner either.
But you guys, when you run, you're looking at like 200s, 400s,
600s,
600 miles.
800s.
No,
No,
sometimes
no
in
miles.
Well, Murph is a mile, but so that's a rarity then.
That again, once a year.
Right. It does come up. I've done competitions where I've had to do 2-3 mile trail runs, obstacle courses.
Right.
That would just be one event of the multiple events of the competition.
Okay.
Whenever it comes up, I'm not happy.
No.
Right. Okay.
And I think most CrossFitters, they don't, I can't say most, but I know that my community, a large percentage, they don't like the runs.
Right.
But if they signed up for a 5K, they would all better their times on
Right.
5Ks. And they see the association of the conditioning that we do through the benchmarks and through the WODs daily, then that transfers over into that carryover over to just go to a 5K.
Right. And I knew, I used to train with a guy that he was paid to go around the country and be a pacekeeper in marathons. So his, season of marathons, he would do 10 to 13 or 14 marathons in a season.
Wow.
And, he was never going to compete in CrossFit. He started CrossFitting and just for functional fitness. And he talked about that he did marathons before CrossFit and then after. Once he started doing CrossFit, he stopped hurting after his marathons, and he just could, you know, he was back in the gym the next day, or he'd take one rest day and then be fine.
So his recovery improved.
His recovery is improved. His, you know, he put on muscle to where, you know, in a marathon, you know, there's a reason why the winners are pretty thin.
Yeah, wears down some muscle.
Yeah, it wasn't going to make him the fastest marathon runner, but it made it so that he could run marathons.
He can enjoy them more. He's going to hold up better. He's going to be
from you know, from that looking at that, we know that people that run have a diminished posterior chain, so the muscles in their hamstrings and glutes are pretty weak.
Yeah.
You watch them squat, you can see how they run by how they squat, and there's associations where the knees cave or the ankles may roll, and if you improve that for that runner, so like Rebecca's friend, he was a runner, he wasn't going to be a competitive CrossFitter, but he just wanted to use CrossFit to help him improve his running. Mm-hmm. Improving that squat and mechanically sounding that squat will improve that run, and that's when the pain goes away, because now the body's able to move, the foot can plant a particular way, the knee tracks a particular way, the hamstrings being engaged instead of the quadriceps, instead of the hip flexors. So it's a more, and the reason that the injuries went away is they became more functionally sound.
Great. That's great. That's really a side of CrossFit most people don't think about, hear about, and realize that the benefits affect across the board. It's not just the benefit in the gym; it's the benefits of their life and whatever else they're trying to do. They're just going to move better.
Well, when CrossFit first started, Coach Glassman, I mean, he would say, "You CrossFit to do a sport."
Sure.
Right.
You know, we have many athletes that their sport is completely different. They play soccer, they may weight lift, they endurance, mm-hmm. They cycle, but they use CrossFit to make that better.
Gotcha. Great. Thanks. I think we're going to wrap up this segment, and we're going to come back and talk about you guys personally and what you guys are involved with kids, and a little bit of your backgrounds. Okay. So check back with us. We're going to talk about what I just said. See you then.